Hello everyone, I am Zerna Mantilla and I am going to tackle the history of Santo Tomas de Villanueva Church. So, what is the history of the church? So, it is built in 786. Miagao Church, also known as the Santo Tomas de Villanueva Parish Church, is one of the most visited tourist attractions in Miagao, Iloilo. So, more than a place of worship, it is also served as a fortress. Hence, it is called the Baroque Fortress Church. So, it was designed with the Baroque features with touches of Chinese and Filipino style, imposing designs, ornaments, and motifs, making it a one-of-a-kind church. That's why the Miagao Church architecture is among the Philippine most beautiful architectural gems. So, its old structure, history, and its UNESCO World Heritage Mark make it a treasure not only for Iloilo but for the Philippines. So throughout the years, it has gone through many wars and revolutions, fires and earthquakes, and survived. So Miagao Church also stands as a living legacy of the culture and a way of life of the people of Miagao centuries ago. So before Miagao Church, there were two churches that were built in town, but both were burned by Muslims, raiders, and pirates. So it was just in 1786 when the construction of Miagao Church Iloilo started and completed in 1797. So since then, it served two purposes. It is for place of worship and a fortress against Muslim raiders. So for centuries, since 1797, Miagao Church was not the only one a garrison of the Christian faith but also an indomitable refuge for citizens during the Spanish Moro Wars. So battle after battle, its walls stood steadfast like San Cristobal under the weight of a centuries-long struggle. So during the revolutions in 1898, the church was destroyed and subsequently rebuilt in the same year. So in 1910, the church was damaged by fire, while in 1948, it was damaged by an earthquake, and the restoration was completed in 1962. Due to the disasters and calamities, it went through Miagao Church underwent restoration work several times already. So in 1974, Miagao Church Iloilo was declared as a national landmark, and in 1993, it was listed by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. So, for the information of the church, UNESCO has chosen Miagao Church as one of the World Heritage Sites because it exhibits various architectural designs with a predominance of Baroque architecture and a local artist's elements. So the church foundation runs 20 feet deep into the ground, and its 1.5-meter thick walls are reinforced with 4-meter thick buttresses. As the town of Miagao was constantly invaded by the Moros for almost a decade in the mid-18th century, the church had to be moved to the more secure place, so a new fortified church was then built at the highest point of the town to guard against potential invaders. But what makes this church even more special is its unique ochre color. So the church was built using a combination of Spanish Baroque and Romanesque early medieval architectural style, with the addition of Chinese, Muslim, and local Filipino elements in the decoration of its facade. For instance, Saint Christopher is wearing a traditional Filipino attire and is surrounded by a decoration like papaya and palm trees, which are very common in the country. So, the adobe used in the building the church is made from a silt and a clay that can only be found in this part of Iloilo, so giving also the building a unique warm yellowish glow. The towering buttresses from the side of the church walls are typical of the earthquake Baroque design reminiscent of churches churches in Ilocos, particularly Panay Church and the Vigan Cathedral, while the church simple interior is highlighted by a striking gold-plated retablo.
Miango Church or Santo Tomas de Villanueva Parish Church is a Roman Catholic church located in the town of Miango in the province of Iloilo in western Visayas, Region 3 of the Philippines. Consecrated in 1581 and founded in 1731 by the Spanish Augustinian missionaries. It was declared as UNESCO World Heritage Site on December 11, 1993, together with San Agustin Church in Manila, Nuestra Señora de la Asunción Church in Santa Maria, Ilocos Sur, and San Agustin Church in Pauay, Ilocos Norte under the collective title Baroque Churches of the Philippines, a collection of Baroque Spanish-era churches in the Philippines. This church is dedicated to Saint Tomas of Villanueva, 1488 to 1555, a Spanish chair of Order of Saint Augustine, who was noted preacher and religious writer of his day. He became an archbishop who was famous for the extent of his care for the poor of his see. He is also called Saint Tomas of Villanueva, named after Villanueva de los Infantes, a municipality in the province of Ciudad Real, Castilla Mancha in Spain, where he grew up and he was educated. He was canonized on November 1, 1658 by the Pope Alexander VII. Old masterpiece of Saint Tomas is portrait of Illustrious, a Spaniard martyred in 1791. The current location in this church is the highest point of the town of Miango to guard against invaders, with the first building constructed in 1787 and completed in 1797 after severe damage during the Spaniard Revolution in 1898, a fire in 1910, World War II, and the earthquake in 1948. The current church is the third church building since it was founded in 1731. It underwent a restoration in 1960 and was completed in 1962. It has a Baroque Romanesco architectural style. This fortress-looking church has thick walls with sturdy pillars, large tower, and decorative arcading with semicircular arches in windows and doorways. The barrel vault concept is used to ceiling from the entrance of the church up to the altar with the antique hanging chandeliers over the pew. The church has also earned the distinction of being one of the best examples of Baroque churches in the country. Its facade consists of the ornately decorated bas-relief in the middle of the huge watchtower, belfries on each side. The unique bas-relief mixed influence of medieval Spanish, Chinese, Muslim, and local tradition and elements. A permitted part of the facade is the large coconut tree which reaches almost the apex. An internal part of the Philippines landscape that coconut tree is displayed here in the Tree of the Life, which Saint Christopher, dressed in local and traditional clothing, has the traces of the child Jesus on his shoulder. The rest of faith features daily life of the people of Miango and their native dress during the time, including native flora, coconut, palm tree, and papaya and toma. The two huge unequal bell towers are directly attached to the main church to serve the watchtower in defending the town against Moro invasion then. These have two different designs since they were commissioned by two different priests. On the left side of the older belfry, the taller west belfry with 4 levels. Originally, the east belfry was constructed with 2 levels. It was in 1830 when Father Francisco Perez decided to add another story to the east belfry. Until now, the east belfry 3 levels is one level shorter than the West Belfry 4 levels. The original late 1790s image of Saint Tomas of Villanueva can also be found enclosed in glass case on the rear side of the church.
So we are now in the transportation going from Cagayan de Oro to Iloilo City. So where the Miagao Church is located. So the fastest way to go there is by plane. And from Cagayan de Oro, there are direct flights to Iloilo that will take around 3 hours and 40 minutes of travel time. Upon arrival, you can ride a shuttle van or taxi going to Iloilo City. So you can also ride a ship from Macabalan Port. You can reach Iloilo Domestic Port located along General Hughes Saint in about 14 hours. So mas dali ang plane. So makasave pa kag time. If plane na sakyan rather than ship. So upon arrival in Iloilo, there are many available transportation services that can tour you around. And there are taxis, jeepneys, and vans. From the city proper, it will take about 45 minutes to reach Miagao Church.
I proudly present the History Church of Santo Tomas de Villanueva, Miagao, Iloilo, a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
The bell in the west tower of the church raised on the alarm when the watchmen saw the invaders approaching. On hearing it, the village will be rushed on the church to protect until the threat dissipated.
The exterior window treatments are very interesting and look the Chinese and Filipino artisans many months to complete. Some are currently in serious despair, but plans are in the works to restore them to their original splendor. The buttresses on either side of the building suggest its early beginning has both a church and fort. The walls of the main church are 1.5 meters thick and the buttresses they are 3 meters thick. The artwork of the building is impressive considering when it was built. The front is adorned with intricate carving and sculptures depicting Saint Christopher crossing a river while carrying the child Jesus on his shoulder and holding into a palm tree. In addition, papaya and guava tree sculptures complete the upper portion of the main portico.